If you've ever believed that help can arrive from the most unexpected places, this story is for you. Before it begins, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring more real, heartfelt stories like this to life. At exactly 12 minutes past midnight, when the world outside had gone quiet and even the streetlights seemed to blink sleepily, a small knock echoed down the hallway of apartment 3B. It wasn't loud. It wasn't confident. It was the kind of knock made by someone who wasn't sure they should be knocking at all. Inside the apartment, Aisha froze. She had been sitting on the floor beside her daughter's bed, one arm wrapped protectively around 7-year-old Hania, who clutched her worn teddy bear so tightly that its stitched smile bent sideways. The front door rattled again, this time from the wind pushing through a warped wooden frame that no longer closed properly. Aisha swallowed hard. The door had been damaged earlier that evening when the lock jammed and the frame cracked. She had pushed a chair against it, then another, hoping it would be enough until morning. She had told herself to be brave, told herself that fear was a luxury she couldn't afford, but fear doesn't listen to reason, especially in the dark. "Mama," Hania whispered, her voice trembling. "What if someone comes in?" Aisha brushed her daughter's hair back and forced a smile. "No one will, John. I'm right here." Another knock, softer this time. Aisha's heart pounded so loudly she was sure it could be heard through the walls. Before she could stop her, Hania slipped from the bed and padded into the hallway. Aisha reached out, but her daughter was already there, standing on tiptoes to peer through the cracked door. "Hello?" Hania called, her small voice barely louder than a breath. On the other side stood a tall man in a dark coat, his expression calm but concerned. He looked nothing like the danger Aisha had imagined. No shadows hiding his face. No threat in his posture. Still, it was midnight, and he was a stranger. Hania tilted her head, studying him with the serious curiosity only children possess. "Can you fix our door?" she asked. "Mommy's scared." The words landed heavier than any accusation ever could. The man's eyes softened instantly. "I'm your neighbor," he said gently. "From next door. I heard the noise earlier. Is your door broken?" Aisha rushed forward then, pulling Hania back behind her. She kept one hand on her daughter's shoulder and one foot braced against the door. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, embarrassment mixing with fear. "We're fine. It's late." The man nodded, understanding flickering across his face. "I won't come in unless you ask. I just wanted to make sure you're safe." Aisha hesitated. She didn't recognize him. Not really. She knew there was a quiet tenant in 3C who came and went at odd hours, always polite, always distant. She hadn't known his name. What she didn't know was that the man standing there was Imran Malik, CEO of one of the country's fastest-growing technology firms, a name that appeared in business magazines and conference headlines. To her, he was simply the neighbor who didn't feel threatening. Hania peeked out again. "Our door won't close," she said. "It makes scary sounds." Imran knelt to her eye level. "That does sound scary," he said. "How about this? I'll take a look from outside. If I can fix it, great. If not, I'll help you find someone who can. Would that be okay?" Aisha looked at her daughter, then back at the door. She thought of the long night ahead, of the creaks and rattles, of trying to sleep while listening for every sound. She moved the chair aside. "Just from outside," she said. Imran smiled reassuringly and stepped closer, examining the damaged frame and bent latch. "Looks like the lock plate shifted," he said calmly. "Probably from wear and tear. It happens." He pulled a small toolkit from his coat pocket. Simple tools, well used. "I keep this around. Old habit." As he worked, Hania watched with wide eyes, the fear slowly draining from her face. Aisha stood back, arms crossed tightly, unsure whether she was more embarrassed by the situation or grateful for the help. "You live alone?" Imran asked gently, not looking up. "Yes," Aisha replied. "It's just us." He nodded, understanding more than she said aloud. 10 minutes later, the door clicked shut cleanly, solid and secure. Imran tested it twice, then stepped back. "There," he said. It should hold until you can get it properly replaced. Hania clapped softly. You fixed it. Imran smiled. Team effort. Aisha felt a tightness in her chest she hadn't realized was there begin to ease. Thank you, she said, her voice thick. I didn't know what to do. That's okay, Imran replied. You did what you could. That's what matters. He turned to leave, but Hania tugged on her mother's sleeve. Mama, say thank you again. Aisha laughed quietly. Thank you, truly. Imran paused, then added, If you need anything at all, you know where to find me. The door closed, and the apartment felt warmer somehow, safer. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the thin curtains, and for the first time in days, Aisha woke without a knot of dread in her stomach. Hania was already up, humming as she colored at the small kitchen table. Mama, she said brightly, the door is still strong. Aisha smiled. Yes, it is. Later that day, there was a knock, this time during daylight. Aisha opened the door to find a delivery man holding a large package. For apartment 3B, he said. Inside the box was a brand new reinforced door lock, along with a note written in neat handwriting. For peace of mind, no one should be scared in their own home. There was no name, but Aisha knew. Over the next few weeks, small changes followed. The building's management suddenly approved repairs they had delayed for months. The hallway lights were replaced. Security cameras appeared. Near the entrance, rent increases that had been rumored never came. Aisha didn't connect the dots immediately. She was too busy working extra shifts at the clinic, too busy helping Hania with school, too busy rebuilding the sense of safety that had been shaken. One evening she ran into Imran in the elevator. Hania greeted him like an old friend. You're the door fixer, she announced proudly. Imran laughed. That's me. As the elevator hummed upward, Aisha finally asked, Why did you really help us that night? Imran considered the question. Because once, he said slowly, someone helped my mother when we had nothing. I was about your daughter's age. I never forgot how that felt. The elevator doors opened. He nodded politely and stepped out. Months passed. Life settled into a quieter rhythm. The memory of that midnight knock softened, turning from fear into something else, something hopeful. One afternoon, Aisha received a call from the school. Hania had been selected for a scholarship program, one that supported children from hardworking families with limited resources. The letter listed a donor's foundation, Malik Community Trust. Aisha sat down, stunned. That evening, she knocked on Imran's door. You didn't have to do this, she said when he opened it. I wanted to, he replied simply. Your daughter has a bright future. Sometimes all it takes is a door being opened at the right moment. Tears filled Aisha's eyes. You changed our lives. Imran shook his head. No, you were already strong. I just showed up. Years later, Hania would stand on a stage, accepting an award for academic excellence. She would tell the story of the night her door broke, and how a neighbor showed her that kindness could arrive in the darkest hours. She would say that success wasn't just about money or power, but about being present when someone is afraid. And somewhere in the audience, Imran would clap quietly, knowing that the greatest investment he ever made wasn't in a company, but in a moment. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can fix more than a door. They can change a life.